Pro Football Focus, one of your favorite sites, Greg, especially when they rank people. They ranked Jakobi Meyers the 25th wide receiver in the league. When Greg Bedard sees that, what is his reaction?
You got to be bleeping kidding me. I mean, this just goes to the heart of and I love the guys at PFF, and we've talked about it before. I mean, I was an early sort of adopter, and so a lot of the stuff that I do or did even before they existed, where we see things similarly. I'm all for grading things, and I can't watch every team every week, so I'm glad somebody can and sort of give us a baseline. And there is definitely some use for some of the stuff that they do, but this is an example of them I mean, it just completely misses the mark, and they just don't get it. I mean, look, they said, first of all, they said below you will find a list of the 25 highest graded wide receivers of the regular season. Please note that just because player X is ahead of player Y does not mean we would take player X over player Y if we were building a team. This list is built solely around the regular season PFF grade of every wide receiver who saw at least 50 targets in the 2020 season. That's great, but you can't look at it that way. I mean, you just can't. I mean, so, okay, well, I guess the Patriots don't need a number one wide receiver now, Nick. They're all set. They have the 25th best receiver in the NFL. I mean,
that's right. He's a number one.
That's pretty good. That's a number one on their number one is better than the number one on 7 other teams. It's awesome. So glad we got that taken care of early in the offseason.
It's a little outrageous. Listen, even if you like Jakobi Meyers, before we move on, what do you think the ceiling is for Jakobi? Do you think he's a 2 in this offense with some circumstances, under certain circumstances, or do you think really he's like a third guy, slot, and that's where they would love to have him?
Yeah, I think realistically he's a number 3, which is fine. I think he could play some 2 as the slot. Yeah, but he's a little slight, and I worry about him getting beat up there, and that's not sort of their physical profile of those guys. But about the PFF list for 1 second. I mean, it's just, look, you can't look at things in a vacuum. Like, you have to look at it in circumstances. Like, why is they're basically saying Jakobi Meyers is productive, and Jakobi Meyers has done a good job. I mean, I would say when I do my player by player grades coming up, he'll probably be around a B, which is pretty good for this team.
Right.
But just because, I mean, Jakobi Meyers isn't getting doubled by anybody. Nobody cares about Jakobi Meyers. Jakobi Meyers is on a crappy team, so everyone's stacking the line, so things are open a little bit more. And they have a running quarterback, or at least a quarterback who's a threat to run. So things are a little bit more open for him, as opposed to, say, I don't know, Julio Jones or somebody like that, who's a central focus of a defensive coordinator. So it's apples and oranges to me. I just don't understand some of the stuff they do at PFF, and this is one of those.